guys, my name is Ryan and welcome to my channel. I'm up here at Moonshine Harley Davidson, and guess what? The long awaited Sportster S is finally in stock right here behind me. I'm with my man Rob, and we're gonna do, oh, Rob's on the phone. Well, okay, Rob's gonna come back. I tell you what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do a walk around on this bike. I'll put Rob's information. I tell you what, they are selling motorcycles like you wouldn't believe up here. So Rob's phone number is here. I'll put it up on the screen, like right in here somewhere. I'll also put his information, his email, and his phone number down in the description. Let's just get to the good stuff. I'll do a 360-degree walk around right here on this brand new Sportster S behind me. And also I have a treat for you guys. I was at the IMS Outdoors show and I actually did a demo ride on a Sportster S. So I'll throw that in there as well. Also, this bike is actually it's at the very end stages of the PDI process. So you'll see some plastic and stickers and stuff on there. But I just wanted to show it to you. You know me, guys. Sometimes I get so excited about these motorcycles that before they even finish doing the pre-delivery inspection, I start doing videos on them. And I'm very thankful to Moonshine for allowing me to do that. So I'm standing directly in front of the Harley Davidson Sportster S model. What I'm gonna do is, I think I'm gonna take this thing for a ride and see what the hype is all about. Let's get to it.
Left hand side.
Okay.
Self-canceling, so once you turn, they'll turn off.
All right. So I am currently on the brand spanking new Harley Davidson Sportster S. This is my first demo ride, the first time I've ever been on a Sportster S, and I can tell you right off the bat, this thing sits up pretty high, man. I feel like I'm leaning forward, but I do have forward controls on this bike. How do let's see. Oh, there we are, right there. Okay, so right now they told me to start off in rain mode, so I'll do it. They said that the sides are clearly marked, so we shall see. Every time I'm supposed to I have a turn coming up, there'll be a sign like that. And then when I'm supposed to turn, there'll be a double arrow sign. So here's my indicator to let me know that a turn's coming up. Now there's a double turn. I'm surely, goodness, they're not wanting me to turn right there. That'd be weird. So right off the bat, the only thing that's kind of odd for me is I'm used to my turn signals being left and right side. So they're both on the left-hand side right now, which is a little different for me. All right. It's pretty responsive right here, just in raid mode alone. They say this is the tame mode. So just trying to take off right here. I can feel this thing's governed right now because I hit the, I roll on the throttle in this raid mode, and I can tell right now that it's definitely not wanting me to take off at the speed that I want to take off at. All right, I'm going to switch. So we're going to switch over to this next road, which may be road mode, maybe. Oh yeah, I feel it that time. Woo, I felt it right there, baby. Woo, what's sport mode gonna be like? This thing's peppy. I mean, that's some get up right there. Pretty good engine braking. Let's see here. That's some pretty good engine braking right there. Second gear, first gear, hitting around 20 miles an hour. Some good engine braking right there. All right, let's switch over to sport mode. Here we go. I can already tell right now. Oh yeah, I can already tell. There's zero delay in the throttle response in this sport mode. And I'm only in third gear. Woo! Yeah, I feel it. I feel it, baby. I feel it. Brother. All right, I feel this, man. This sport mode. I should have brought my gloves. I feel a little naked without my gloves. That sucker wants to take off. I really don't know where I'm at anymore. I don't know where my next turn is. Let's see how these railroad tracks feel. That's pretty good. Pay attention. Boy, this thing will flat get up. Let me just tell you. I really like the seated position in here. This, even though you kind of lean forward like a sport bike a little bit, and then instead of the controls being back, the controls are right here up front. So these forward controls, I like the position of these forward controls. I mean, just really cool. The only problem is I have no clue where I'm at, and I have no clue how to get back. That's the big problem right now. So I'll have to pull over and turn on my GPS to see where in the heck I'm at. Let's see, let's give it a little bit of throttle. Woo! Man, this thing's got some get up and go. I'm pretty impressed with this. All right, so let's see. I mean, this bike right here has a really nice lean angle on it. Real nice lean angle. It's nice to go through these little curvy roads right here. Alright guys, I'm real impressed with this Sportster S. Very nimble feeling bike. It's easy to control. Very, very impressed. Okay everyone, now it's time for my breakdown for my first impression ride of the brand new Harley Davidson Sportster S. So I've got 10 little things here that I'm going to go over. Number one, being the seat position of the bike. I felt like it was kind of a closely related to a sport bike-esque seating position. So that was interesting. You're kind of leaning forward a little bit and not sitting back like your traditional Harley Davidson. You know, you're not sitting back like this, and you don't have that cruiser style feel. So it was a unique feel. It kind of took me back to some old sport bike riding days. So number 2, it kind of falls in line with that seated position. This particular Sportster S had forward controls on it. They had some with mid controls. I decided to choose the one that had forward controls. So I was kind of, let's see if I can show you on my bike here. I was kind of sitting up a little bit like this, and then I had the legs up, you know, so it was almost kind of, if this is my leg and this is my arm, it was kind of that position, but leaning forward. And here's the thing, that's probably not the best description, but it was a very comfortable riding position for this Sportster S. So I can't complain about that at all. Number 3, the position of the turn signals, it was a little odd to me, just solely because I'm used to all of my turn signals. If I'm going to turn left, I'm reaching up with my thumb and hitting the left turn signal with the left thumb. If I'm turning right, I'm reaching up and hitting with the right turn signal. So the left was relatively easy, but every time I went to turn right, I felt like I was immediately reaching for that side over here. So that's just more of a preference thing. And I think with some time I could get used to that, just being over there. You just push it. It was easy to manipulate and easy to control. It was just something that was different for me. Kind of like going from having the Street Glide special that I did last week, going from having the heel shifter and the toe shifter to just having a toe shifter. A couple times I automatically went back with my foot to try to shift, and it wasn't there. So number 4, let's start with the modes. The first mode I started out in was the rain mode. The rain mode was responsive, but you could tell that the rain mode was governed a little bit. So what I mean by that is I would roll on the throttle a little bit, and there was a very small delay. It wasn't instantaneous. So I felt like that it still was a little peppy in rain mode, but I also felt like the rain mode, if you were actually in a situation where it was raining, it would keep you safe and keep you from rolling on the throttle accidentally too fast and kicking that tire out from under you and doing a little fishtailing or something, and or putting you in a dangerous situation. So I understand it, but it's still, in my mind, you know, you roll on the throttle and you're ready for it to take off, and it didn't, but it wasn't bad at all. I could see that if you bought that bike, that rain mode would be a fantastic mode for you to start out in to get used to your bike. Because once you start getting into the other modes, you notice a big difference. So let's move on to the road mode. As soon as I switched to the road mode, there was a significant power increase. There was a significant throttle. There was significantly less throttle delay. And I could tell that I was in a different mode. That would be a great bike for around town, in traffic, red light to red light mode, where you didn't need to give it too much power, but you needed a little power to get out of situations. You could tell very slightly that there was a little bit of delay in the throttle response, but that bike in the road mode was still extremely peppy, which once I got into road mode, and you can see in the video that I was ready for sport mode, because I could tell just by the change. I was surprised at the significant difference from rain mode. And rain mode is what it is. That's a mode they want you to use in the rain. But like I said, rain mode, I still feel like that if you just bought that bike and you were trying to get used to your bike, you want to stay in rain mode for a while. Because as soon as you switch over to road mode, you're kind of learning, it feels like a different bike a little bit. You're kind of learning the new power that you have. Before we get to sport mode, I want to talk about the engine braking. That's a big thing to me, where I don't want to use the front brake and I don't always want to use the rear brake. I just want an engine brake. And the engine braking was superb on this motorcycle. As you can tell, once I started shifting, it really started slowing down the bike. I mean, it was dropping it, and it never once felt like, you know, you were going to lose control while you're engine braking, or it was dipping too far forward. I really like the functionality of the engine braking. All right, the sport mode. So when I switched to the sport mode, I decided to stop, change it into sport mode. You can switch all of these modes on the fly, but I want it to stop. I didn't want it to change over while I was riding. I wanted it to change over from a stop position and to get the full effect of that sport mode. The sport mode, instantaneous change. Instantaneous to full and immediate throttle response. And it almost felt like I was on a different motorcycle at that point. That bike was so well balanced, so nimble, and I was able to, any situation that you could get yourself in that might be a scary situation or something, in that sport mode, you can get out of it very quick. That sport mode, as soon as you roll on the throttle, that bike took off. In the beginning, the girl told me, okay, well, this bike has a little bit of power, so, you know, be careful. And I thought to myself, okay, you know, all right, whatever. It's a Sportster, you know, all right. I'm sure it does have a lot of power, but let me just tell you, that sport mode on that Sportster S, it was a game changer compared to the rest of the modes. That is such a fun and exciting mode. That's probably what I would keep it in all the time. If I had that Sportster S, I would probably keep it in that sport mode all the time, because that thing will flat get up and go in that mode. There was zero delay in the throttle, and it was a fast bike. So let me go to number 8, which is the stock riding position of the bars. I really liked where the stock riding position of the bars. And I've said this before, that, you know, when Harley Davidson is making motorcycles for the masses, they kind of have to guess at it, you know, because they never know how much their rider's going to weigh, how tall their rider's going to be, and they've got to kind of just say, hey, I think this will be comfortable for a lot of folks. 5'10", and long legs, long arms, and that the forward controls on the bike and the riding position of the handlebars felt great. I felt like I was right there. Fairingless bike. I felt like it was very easy to have that mind, mechanical, muscle, body connection with the whole Sportster S. Number 9. Number 9 is going to be about the lean angle of the Sportster S. That bike would lean, and it would lean and lean and lean for days. I felt like that I could have been, if I had the ability, which I don't, I felt like I could have been one of those guys on the motorcycle track leaning down with my knees sticking out like this right here, almost rubbing the ground. I felt like that bike could do that. I don't know what the lean angle is on that bike. You know, you guys could look that up. That's not my point. I'm not saying that you could lean like that. I'm just saying it felt like that you could lean for days on that bike. And when I kept going in the turns, I kept leaning a little more. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm leaning and it doesn't feel like it's going to tip ever. The bike was so incredibly light feeling and so incredibly balanced feeling inside of the leans on both the left side and the right side. So that was real impressive. So number 10, I kind of went with something a little bit different. Number 10, I went with, who do I feel like this Sportster S is for? Because I wrote it, and then I wanted to think about it before I made a decision of who is the target market. And, you know, maybe I'm not going to give the exact target market that Harley Davidson had in mind, but in my opinion, the Sportster S could hit a few target markets. The Sportster S, it could be for a new rider, one who kind of wants that naked style bike, the fairingless bike, someone that does not necessarily want to go jump straight into a sport bike because they are interested, or maybe someone in their family or one of their friends rides Harleys, so they want to ride Harleys. They want to be a part of that big community. So I feel like that that's one type of rider that this bike would be appealing to. The other one is that naked sport bike rider that's already out there, that's riding a different bike, that and I won't mention any bike brand names, but that is riding a bike where maybe the services are crazy expensive, or they're kind of in a riding position that, you know what, I kind of want to switch to something else, and that's still got some power, and still got some ability to move and do the things that I want to do. I feel like that this Sportster S will possibly bring riders from other brands that are already out there and make them switch over. I mean, once they get on that bike, they might go, oh my goodness, this is completely different, and it'll make them switch over to the Harley Davidson brand. Last but not least, I feel like the traditional Harley Davidson rider, brother, let me tell you, the traditional Harley Davidson rider can pick up one of those Sportster S's, have it for a second bike, a fun bike around town. And especially if when you were younger, you started on a sport bike or something along those lines, and every now and then you think, man, you know, I don't really want to sit in that hunched over position, but the kind of lean forward, comfortable position, I believe I'd like to have something that'd be fun and with a little bit of speed and leaning in around corners and stuff. For a second bike, I believe that traditional Harley Davidson rider, it would be a home run for you if you wanted, because I know plenty of guys that have 3 and 4 motorcycles. You know, they have road glides, they have street glides, they have a soft tail of some type. And some of them have even added the Pan America to their lineup. So I believe that this bike would be a great addition and an extremely, extremely fun motorcycle. I had a great time riding this bike. I was thoroughly impressed with the Sportster S. I went into it really not having any preconceived notions of what this bike was going to ride like. And the first time I laid my eyes on one was at the IMS Outdoors show. And I had an absolute blast. All right, everyone, I'm going to kick it back over to myself at Moonshine Harley Davidson. I appreciate you watching this 360-degree walk around and this first impression demo ride of this brand spanking new Harley Davidson Sportster S. If you have not already, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Stall.
Oh, this is recorded, by the way.
I didn't think it wasn't recorded.
Okay. Just checking.